Yep. Guess what? Got another tent. Or in this case, I should say, bivvy. A SKJUL. I think it's a SKJUL. 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 Who knows how you pronounce these Norwegian names? It's actually not a tent, it's a bivvy. So the SKJUL is a bivvy bag. And to be fair, it is all new to me, so I am a complete bivvy amateur. So I believe that one of these is meant to be about 990 grams. At the moment that's coming over, so 1.1ish, but there may be some bits and pieces in there that I'm not aware of yet. Right, let's find out what's in the bag as always. So Velcro strap. Probably save a bit of weight on that one, we'll get rid of that I think. Fairly heavy duty. The pole bags etc. I think must be made out of the ground material. So that feels, pole and pegs feel pretty chunky in the bag. And then this should be just one piece. So we've got a pile of patches for the different materials in the bivvy itself. We've got very short and very light pegs. Triangular shaped and probably about 6 inches long. 10 of them. That's everything out of there. This is a hoot bivvy, so there should be, if I'm not mistaken, be 2 wee aluminium poles, a front and a rear, pre-curved. Yep, there you go. So that's all. That'll be your main one for the front, and that'll be the short one for the foot. So just measure that. That's 25 grams worth of savings in that bit. This looks quite big, I have to say. No rear vent, but I believe it's got a big prop vent at the front, or a big wired vent. Oh yeah, see it here, there you go. So, let some air circulation. The upper fabric apparently is 15,000 MVTR, 15,000 grams per square metre per 24 hours of water. I think I've got that right. Which is not the most breathable. I think Pertex Shield is 20,000, but it does have an impressive hydrostatic head, which very small section pole, but then you don't need an awful lot of strength in these things. That must be the front. This I guess is the rear, yep, and straight forward into the eyelet at either side. Same again on this side, on this end, straight through, straightforward webbing loop with an eyelet, 2 pegs at the back for the foot. Let's put them about there. Quite aggressive little pegs actually, they're quite sharp on your fingers and your hands. Very, very sharp edges on them, but super light. Interesting, there's no tensioners on the base of the guy out points. I don't suppose you really need them, but it probably slightly limits where you can put the pegs on rocky ground. And maybe you'd want to put some loops on that. It's got the elastic guy line tensioners like you get on the Vern series on their main tents, which probably is convenient, but not necessarily a great deal on a bivvy bag, because at the end of the day they're not going to get tangled with anything else. Guy line locks appear to be luminous, which is quite a nice wee touch. And the same guy line setup at the front hoop. So I think the obvious comparison you could draw with this is the Ridge Raider from Rab, the Jupiter bivvy from Terra Nova. So it looks like plenty of space to get in. You've got one zip running right across the top, like so, and a huge big flap over it, which I think would just allow air to get in so that you can keep it slightly open when you're sleeping inside. Now that you zip it up, it actually does retain its height, so that looks quite good. It doesn't collapse down on you. A nice heavy duty access zip with plastic Velcro tabs along here. And this is made up both of the solid breathable outer and some bug mesh. There you are, you can see the full bug mesh down to about halfway down the bivvy. Reasonable weather, you could sleep with that, I guess. Nice big cover right over that there, and it's kind of stiffened. It's almost like it's got a plastic sheet in it or extra thickness nylon. They've both got luminous tabs on them as well, so you can find them easily in the dark. It all looks highly practical, highly stealth, highly military, very functional. I like it. And there's your wired hood with midgie mesh in it for some breathability and letting moisture out. Yeah, so absolutely minimum fuss. Very stealth, good dark colour actually. So yeah, if you want to hide yourself away, it's absolutely perfect. I've brought out the Light Tour winter mat and my Nortent sleeping bag, and I'm going to pop them inside and just see if everything actually does fit. So no problem with a taller user. I mean, if I push my mat to the bottom where the feet would go, you've probably got a good 2.5 to 3 feet at the top there. But obviously you want to be probably fairly central. And then we'll get this fairly bulky down Ling sleeping bag in here as well, which would be my winter setup. Or in the summer I would probably just use the Decathlon MT900. There's actually a wee pocket on the right hand side here, so I'll just pop it in there, sewn into the base of the bivvy. Get the old shoes off first. This is so novel for me. So I have been very close to buying a Rab Ridge Raider a few times. The one thing I would say about this though is it's an easier way to get in rather than squeezing yourself in from the end. Although it does leave you fairly exposed to the rain, I suppose. I mean, it's really cosy, I'll say that for it. And there's enough elbow room to move around. I can stretch my arm right above my head all the way to the end. So I'm maybe being a bit unfair there, but I could actually probably get my pack or shoes in there if need be. Actually, this is quite pleasant. I mean, if it was a nice night and you were up on the top of a mountain or just sitting on a wee ridge or a ledge or something, oh, I could easily get a good night's sleep in here, I think, and just watching the stars go by. I'm pushed to the one side of the bivvy here, and there's actually quite a lot of room to one side, so you could probably put some basic gear. I don't know what you would need in the middle of the night. Maybe keep your stove in here to keep it warm, stop your water bottle freezing up, or have a pee bottle in here or whatever. In fact, that'll be an interesting point. Just exactly how one relieves oneself in the middle of the night if it's pouring down. But anyway, I've got it 2/3 closed up. There's quite a lot of light transfer through the fabric at the moment, which is not bad. That won't matter during the night, but it does suggest that it is quite breathable. But it does feel very heavy duty and pretty robust, nicely made, as with all Nortent stuff. Yeah, so you can see there is room to store maybe your pack up there at the top and some extra bits and bobs. But yeah, I don't think you'd be cold, that's for sure. It'll be interesting to see how it handles condensation. The Pertex fabric in the Rab Ridge Raider's got that extra 5,000 breathability on it. So, but like all fabrics, I think when it's wet, none of them really breathe particularly well, in my experience of single skin tents. There might just be enough room here to get your kit off without having to get out the bag and then zip up and get in your sleeping bag. Yeah, you can see the little pocket that's sewn into the ground sheet here, just to take your watch, phone, etc. and keep it in one place. So certainly in dry weather it'd be good, because you could sit in here and just cook away in your bivvy. And then if the weather turns, just get back down inside. But it would keep you mostly warm here. With a Ling sleeping bag, I could have that over my shoulders and my arms out in the winter. So yeah, that is the SKJUL or the SKJUL Bivy. It'd be interesting to see what you think of it. First impressions, yeah, very sound, very solid, very military, very stealth, nicely made. Does exactly what it says in the tin. I'm sure it's very reliable and could take a hammering. The hydrostatic head on this is a whopping 14,000 millimeters. So that's never going to leak on you, and it's all taped. Weirdly enough, the heavier duty floor is actually 10,000 mils, so slightly less for whatever reason, but more than you'll ever need again, and you wouldn't want to use a footprint of any sort, I don't think, under this. Its maximum height is 50 centimetres. You know, the maximum length is 260 centimetres. Maximum width is 100 centimetres. So yeah, it's certainly got the width for a wee bit extra gear in it. The claimed weight is 990 grams, but I think you would have to remove all the bags and the extras to get it down to 990, which does put it into the realms of, you know, one person ultra lightweight tent with a lot more room. But I think a bivvy is a very specific use case. And if you've got those kind of scenarios that you want to use it in, it does make sense as an alternative to a fairly bulky and high profile tent. The poles themselves are 7.8mm Nortent. They're absolutely fine in this. I don't think you'd have any issues with poles, because at the end of the day these are taking very little strain. So it's unlike the bigger tents where it does become a bit more critical about the diameter and or the quality. So there you go, first impressions of the SKJUL Bivy bag. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting introduction to the whole thing for me, and I'm looking forward to trying it in the right conditions. Maybe this weekend we might do a bit of bike packing and take bivvies instead of tents. So I'll keep you posted and do a follow-up video once I've actually tried it. If you have any questions, drop me a line, but it's a very simple piece of kit really. My main concern is just how breathable and how much condensation builds up in it. And if you're a RAB Ridge Raider user, I'd love to know your experience with that. And I'd love to do a test back to back with the Ridge Raider, which I think would be a perfect scenario to try them both simultaneously and just see which comes out best. The Ridge Raider I think is a lot more expensive. This is about 225 delivered. Whether you get it through Valley and Peak or whether you get it from Nortent direct, no real difference. So thanks to Nortent, looking forward to trying it, and I will see you out there again soon. Cheers just now.